Dusty Creek was a small town nestled between rolling hills and wide-open skies. The sun rose each morning, casting a golden glow over its dusty streets and wooden buildings. Life here was peaceful, with children playing and neighbors chatting over fences. However, beneath this calm surface lay a tapestry of legends that whispered through the town like the wind rustling the leaves. Old men gathered at the saloon, sharing tales of outlaws and heroes who once roamed these lands. They spoke of brave sheriffs who stood against notorious bandits, their faces illuminated by flickering lanterns. Some claimed that treasures were buried in hidden caves, while others warned of spirits still watching over the town. These stories made Dusty Creek unique, a place where history and myth intertwined, drawing visitors curious about its past. As the sun set, casting long shadows, the townsfolk would often find themselves captivated by these legends. They knew that every corner of their town held a story waiting to be discovered. Little did they know that soon, one of those stories would come to life in a way they never expected, setting the stage for a showdown that would change Dusty Creek forever. As the sun rose higher in the sky, illuminating the town of Dusty Creek, two figures stood at opposite ends of the story about to unfold. Sheriff Lily, known for her bravery and sharp mind, was the pride of the town. With her wide-brimmed hat and badge gleaming in the sunlight, she patrolled the streets with confidence. The townsfolk admired her not only for keeping law and order but also for her kindness. She listened to their worries and always had a reassuring smile, making her a beloved figure. On the other hand, there was Rufus, a notorious outlaw whose name sent shivers down the spines of many. He was tall and rugged, with a reputation for being cunning and unpredictable. After years away, he was returning to Dusty Creek to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. Whispers of his arrival spread like wildfire, stoking fear and excitement among the townspeople. As Sheriff Lily prepared for the inevitable confrontation, she sharpened her wits just as much as her trusty revolver. Little did they know that their paths would soon collide in a way that neither could foresee, changing their lives and Dusty Creek forever. As the clock in the town square struck noon, an electric tension filled the air. The sun blazed overhead, casting long shadows across the dusty ground, where townsfolk gathered in anticipation. They whispered to one another, their eyes fixed on the main street, where Sheriff Lily stood tall and resolute, her heart racing but her expression calm. The wooden buildings around them seemed to lean in closer, as if eager to witness the confrontation that would soon unfold. Families had come out, mothers holding children close, older folks clutching hats to shield themselves from the sun. Nervous murmurs filled the air, mixed with occasional laughter, trying to cut through the anxiety that hung thick like a fog. Everyone knew this moment was different. It felt as if time itself had paused. Across the street, Rufus stepped into view, his silhouette stark against the midday sun. He walked with a swagger that commanded attention, a grin playing on his lips as he scanned the crowd. The townspeople's murmurs grew softer as they realized today was not just another day. It was a pivotal moment in Dusty Creek's history. High noon had arrived, and soon their fates would be intertwined in a way no one could have predicted. As the crowd waited, whispers began to swirl around the square like a gust of wind. Rumors of Rufus's unexpected allies spread quickly, igniting a sense of dread among the townspeople. Some claimed to have seen shadowy figures lurking at the edges of town, while others spoke of a gang that had once followed Rufus, known for their ruthless tactics and fierce loyalty. The tension in the air thickened as Sheriff Lily overheard snippets of conversation. "What if he's brought them back with him?" one woman gasped, clutching her child's hand tightly. "We can't let them take our town," an elderly man declared, his voice shaking with fear. The anxiety rippled through the crowd, turning murmurs into anxious chatter. Lily remained focused, her mind racing as she considered her options. She knew that Rufus was clever and would not come alone if he intended to cause chaos. The stakes were higher than ever, and the townsfolk depended on her strength and wisdom to navigate this looming threat. With each passing moment, the atmosphere grew more charged, and it became clear that this showdown would not just be about a duel, but also a test of courage against a hidden danger that could emerge at any moment. As the tension mounted in Dusty Creek, Sheriff Lily knew she needed an edge to face Rufus and any hidden threats. She remembered her childhood friend, Sam, who had always been resourceful and quick on his feet. Though he had chosen a quieter life tending to the local blacksmith shop, Lily recognized that Sam possessed a surprising skill, an incredible talent for marksmanship that few knew about. With determination in her heart, she made her way through the crowd and found Sam at his forge, the rhythmic sound of hammer on metal echoing in the background. "Sam," she called out, urgency in her tone. "I need your help today." Sam looked up, concern etched on his face as he wiped sweat from his brow. "What's going on, Lily?" She quickly explained the situation, the rumors swirling about Rufus's allies and the impending showdown at high noon. When she finished, Sam nodded, understanding the gravity of the moment. He reached for his old rifle tucked away in a corner of the shop, dusting it off with care. "Let's make sure Dusty Creek is safe," he said with resolve. Together, they crafted a plan that combined their strengths, readying themselves for whatever might come next. The moment had arrived. Sheriff Lily stood in the center of the town square, the sun beating down fiercely, casting long shadows that danced with anticipation. Across from her, Rufus emerged from the crowd, his demeanor relaxed yet ready for the challenge ahead. The townsfolk held their breath, the air thick with tension as they sensed the gravity of what was about to unfold. Lily's heart raced as she locked eyes with Rufus. She knew he was cunning, always one step ahead, and this encounter would be a battle of wits as much as it was a test of strength. Each of them sought to outsmart the other, weighing their options while the world around them faded away. The laughter of children and the rustle of leaves became mere background noise to their focused stares. "Ready to settle this once and for all?" Rufus taunted, a smirk on his face that hinted at confidence and hidden tricks. Lily tightened her grip on her weapon, recalling Sam's whispered advice about staying sharp and using her surroundings to her advantage. With one final glance at the anxious townspeople, she prepared herself mentally, knowing that today's showdown was not just about winning, but ensuring Dusty Creek remained safe from Rufus's ambitions. The standoff intensified as Rufus seemed to gain the upper hand. With a sly grin, he dodged Lily's attempts to outmaneuver him, showcasing his agility and confidence. The crowd gasped as he lunged forward, forcing Lily to react quickly to avoid being cornered. It felt as if the tide was turning in Rufus's favor, the whispers of his allies echoing ominously in the back of her mind. Just then, a loud crack echoed through the air, causing everyone to turn their heads in surprise. Sam had taken position on a nearby rooftop, having followed Lily's plan quietly. With his old rifle steady in hand, he aimed carefully at Rufus's nearby accomplice who had slipped into view, readying himself for trouble. The shot rang true, and the would-be attacker stumbled back, thwarted by Sam's surprising skill. Rufus's expression shifted from confidence to shock as he realized that he was no longer only up against Sheriff Lily. The tides turned as Sam's unexpected intervention shifted the balance of power. With renewed determination, Lily seized the moment to regain control of the duel, knowing that together with Sam, they could take on whatever Rufus had planned. The crowd erupted in cheers, their spirits lifted by this unforeseen twist in the showdown. As the dust settled from Sam's intervention, the atmosphere shifted once more. Sheriff Lily, still poised for battle, noticed a flicker of something in Rufus's eyes that suggested he was more than just an outlaw looking for a fight. With determination, she pressed him for answers. "What are you really after, Rufus?" For a moment he hesitated, his bravado wavering. The smirk faded from his face as he glanced around at the townsfolk who were still watching with bated breath. "I didn't come here just to settle old scores," he admitted reluctantly. "I'm looking for something I lost long ago, something precious to me." Intrigued and confused, Lily urged him to explain further. Rufus revealed that years ago, during his reckless days as an outlaw, he had hidden away a cherished family heirloom in Dusty Creek before leaving town to escape the law. It was a locket containing pictures of his loved ones, and it had haunted him ever since. The revelation hung in the air like an unspoken truce. Perhaps there was more to their encounter than mere conflict. Perhaps it was a chance for closure, for both Rufus and the town he once called home. Lily considered the possibility of helping him find what he sought, weighing her options carefully against her duty as sheriff. With Rufus's heartfelt confession hanging in the air, Sheriff Lily felt a surprising sense of empathy. The hostility that had defined their encounter began to dissolve. "You're saying this locket means everything to you?" she asked, her voice steady but softened by understanding. Rufus nodded, the earlier bravado replaced by vulnerability. "Dusty Creek is my home," he continued, glancing around at the familiar streets. "I thought if I came back, I could find what I lost and finally make peace with my past." Lily considered the town's legends and how they often spoke of redemption and second chances. She couldn't ignore the chance to help him reclaim a piece of his life while ensuring the safety of her community. "Then let's work together," she proposed, surprising even herself. "We can search for your locket before things escalate again." Rufus's eyes widened in disbelief but quickly shifted to gratitude as he realized Lily was willing to give him a chance. The crowd sensed the change. Gasps of surprise turned into murmurs of hope. This unexpected alliance opened doors for dialogue and understanding, moving Dusty Creek closer to healing not only for Rufus, but also for its own residents caught in the crossfire of old grudges. As Sheriff Lily and Rufus began their search for the locket, the atmosphere in Dusty Creek shifted dramatically. The townsfolk, initially fearful and divided, began to see the potential for a new understanding between law and freedom. As they watched Lily and Rufus work together, old grudges started to fade, replaced by curiosity and hope. Lily realized that maintaining order didn't always mean enforcing the law through force. Sometimes it meant listening and finding common ground. Rufus's transformation from outlaw to an ally showed the townspeople that everyone deserved a second chance. The search led them through familiar haunts: the dusty saloon where Rufus had spent many nights, the old barn where children played, and finally to a hidden spot by the riverbank. There, beneath a weathered stone, they unearthed the locket. As Rufus clutched it tightly, tears filled his eyes, and he turned to Lily with gratitude. This moment was pivotal. It represented more than just recovering a lost treasure. It was a reconciliation of past mistakes and a promise for a brighter future. Dusty Creek would forever remember this day as the turning point when unity overcame division, reshaping their community's identity into one of cooperation rather than conflict. With the locket now safely in Rufus's hands, Sheriff Lily and he stood side by side at the center of the town square, facing the gathered townsfolk. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of excitement and uncertainty as they prepared to address their community. Lily took a deep breath, her heart swelling with a sense of purpose. "Today, we've seen how misunderstandings can divide us," she began, her voice steady and clear. "But we've also witnessed how enemies can become allies when we choose to listen and understand one another." Rufus nodded in agreement, his expression sincere. "I came back to Dusty Creek seeking something I thought I had lost forever. Instead, I found a chance for redemption and friendship." He looked around at the familiar faces, some of whom had once feared him. "We all have a past, but it doesn't have to define our future." As the crowd listened intently, murmurs of agreement rippled through them. Old grudges began to fade as a newfound sense of unity took root. This moment would be remembered as a turning point for Dusty Creek, where law and freedom could coexist, and where understanding would triumph over hostility. Together, Lily and Rufus showed that true strength lies not in conflict, but in coming together for a brighter tomorrow. In the days that followed the remarkable showdown, Dusty Creek began to transform in ways no one could have expected. The townsfolk, once divided by fear and prejudice, now found themselves united by a shared sense of purpose. The courage shown by Sheriff Lily and Rufus inspired everyone to reconsider their views on conflict and forgiveness. No longer were they simply a community defined by legends of outlaws and duels. They were a community redefined by understanding and collaboration. Conversations flourished as neighbors who had once avoided each other began to engage in open dialogue. They shared their own stories of loss and redemption, finding common ground in their experiences. The old saloon, once a place for gossip and suspicion, became a gathering spot for discussions on rebuilding trust and friendship. Lily often reflected on how the fear of confrontation had almost consumed them, yet it was the bravery to listen and empathize that ultimately reshaped their town. As Rufus worked alongside her, helping with community projects, it was clear that true strength lay not in fighting foes but in building bridges. Dusty Creek became a living testament to the idea that courage and understanding could forge bonds stronger than any duel ever could, paving the way for a brighter future.